Welcome to the show today. Today we're going to be talking about how do marketing help you build your brand. Today we have with us over 6 years experience in the business. The Kwak Brothers has built a successful real estate investment company along with educational courses, software programs, and they help emerging real estate professionals grow their own real estate investment businesses. Today, the Kwak Brothers founded multiple software products as well as starting a private equity firm. And today we have Sam. He's going to help us talk about how to build your brand using great marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Sam.
Thank you. An awesome introduction, by the way. That was really good.
Hey, man, look, nothing but for the best for the best.
It's awesome. That's awesome.
So, I talk to a lot of real estate investors and a lot of real estate
Mm.
developers and people in the business,
Yeah.
but I never really have a great opportunity to talk to someone that really specializes in the marketing strategy and the branding strategy.
Hmm.
Um, the first real question is, how do people feel in that area about marketing their brand, if you will?
Yeah. So let me kind of paint the picture as far as why marketing is so relevant today, whether in your real estate or private equity. Of course, my brother can probably go into more about what we're doing and some of the strategies we're using. But what I could probably speak on today is how marketing has changed and why it's never been so relevant now than ever. Um, for a lot of you who are listening, that are business owners, entrepreneurs. There's a lot of noise today. 30, 40 years ago, the idea of internet didn't exist. And a lot of times the only way you could create noise was through mainstream media. Whether you pay for ads, TV commercial, radio commercials, magazines, it was very one directional. But now these days, with the emergence of social media, and probably we're going to see more of that coming in the next 10, 20 years. A lot of noise. Anybody can be a business owner. Anybody could be a media company. Anyone could be in news. We have now this whole concept and idea of an influencer, right? Someone who has a great idea can go on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, share those ideas, and in a period of a few months or years, they can easily influence millions of people, and that has never happened before in our day and age. So there's a lot of noise happening, and um, marketing, even though you might be a multi-million dollar company, private equity, or a big business, um, you know, these small guys can pose a threat if you are looking to compete in a space that you own.
That's so true. That is really so true. With that being said, what is something the first steps that someone should take to brand their real estate firm?
Yeah. So I guess a little follow-up question to you, Brandy, is are we solely sticking with the real estate lane, or are we talking about just
You can talk about anything, and
okay?
you just expand your mind. Let's talk
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
in general.
Sure. So I think so many people are fascinated by this idea that they can start a blog or a podcast, etc. And I truly believe at the end of the day, um, you could probably get your own podcast up and you'll be successful. The only issue that I have, or the issue that I see a lot of people don't quite understand, is the other side of the marketing. That is, do people actually want what I'm selling, or what I'm you know promoting, right? Because you could be promoting, yeah, and I hope I don't offend anybody here, but you could be promoting modern art, but if no one really cares, then there's not going to be much of an audience. So even the smallest audience, you got to find out what they want. For example, when we started our YouTube channel many years ago, I mean, it was kind of an accident for me when I first started this YouTube channel. I started sharing ideas and concepts that I was learning, and I just wanted to share this with the rest of the world. Well, one of the concepts I shared on our YouTube channel, and back then, I mean, zero subscribers, right? I mean, no subscribers at all. I started sharing this idea of paying off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years on average. And I just, made that video. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm gonna, I was personally excited about that strategy. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna share this with the world and let's see how the world reacts. And a lot of times marketing is that, you're sharing what you want to promote, and see, if it bites or if it catches. But this video just so happened in the span of a year, it literally got like 1.5 million views. in a span of a year. And then the next year, it gained another million views. So I think today it's sitting around like 4.7 million views. And I made this video back in 2017. So this video was kind of what kind of kicked off our YouTube channel and really helped us get to where we are today. We're close to 140,000 subscribers. I think we're hovering around 137. So literally, like I didn't plan on building a YouTube channel around that idea, let alone right this whole idea of personal finance, but that's what people wanted. And based on people's reaction, my brother and I sat there and said, you know what, there's something to this whole idea of wanting to pay, having people wanting to pay off their mortgage. So we created more content around it. So I think we made like 60 or 50 more videos about this idea of paying off your mortgage, some of the other subcategories of that. So the first thing first, if you want to get into personal branding and building your marketing following and building your influence, first find out what do people want that you're really good at, or you have the ability or capacity to share. If you have, if you are passionate about, I don't know, affordable housing, for example, right? And you have some really cool ideas about affordable housing, and there are people that are interested in that solution, and there could be a profit made. Then yeah, you could easily build your audience. Another way to build an audience is find out who already has the audience. And I think Russell Brunson, one of the guys that I follow a lot, uh, is spot on this. Like, who is already an influencer in your space? What are they doing? What are their perspective? And how can you share your perspective, whether you disagree or agree, or maybe you have another, kind of angle to what this person has to say. So, going back to this whole idea of affordable housing, maybe this person, this influencer in the real estate arena believes, the best way to build affordable housing is for government to step in and offer an incentive. But maybe you believe that, okay, yeah, I do believe in affordable housing, but I believe that affordable housing should be a strategy, right? So you guys may agree, you and this other influencer may agree on the same kind of a conclusion, what you want to achieve at the end of the day, but maybe you have a different way of achieving that, a perspective. So find out who already has your audience and what they're listening to. That way, I like to call this the Trojan horse method, where you talk about what this influencer is talking about, but you put your own spin to it and add kind of the value. So really, at the end of the day, it comes down to value. Are you, what value are you bringing to the table to an ongoing conversation? And I think that's the easiest way to build influence these days. If somebody has influence, it is harder for you to create a new idea, meaning, something that's completely, I would say fringe, it's never been tested, never been thought of an idea. It is harder to build a movement around that because it's so new. There's this whole, for those who don't know, there's this little bit of a tech adoption or new idea adoption curve, right? There's at first, when a new idea or technology is released, very small population will pick up on it and say, oh, this is really cool, this is the newest idea, they're going to jump on it. And there's usually a little bit of delay, right? It takes about, it takes a couple of years for the masses to kind of catch on. So where you want to be when you're just getting started, if you want to build your personal brand, your influence, is you want to go to where the masses are, kind of the tried and true ideas, and add some of your modified ideas to it. That's probably going to be one of the most fastest and best ways to build an audience and as well as an influence if you're just getting started out of the blue. This is why I like to comment and provide reaction and commentary on like Dave Ramsey or Grant Cardone or some of these guys that are out there that have influence. I'm always adding something where either I disagree or agree, or maybe have a different perspective or angle to what they're talking about. So that's kind of the first way I believe to get started. If you have not gotten on board with this idea, or you maybe want to get started on personal branding or marketing, probably the best way, in my experience, to drive audience to you.
So with that being said, there's there's a lot of platforms now in social media, and there's like seems like every other week there's a new one coming along. So, in your opinion, what do you think is the best marketing strategy for any company on those platforms? Which one you
Sure.
think is be a more effective for someone's brand?
Yeah. So it really depends on what you want to do at the end of the day. So you have to be self-aware in the sense that where is your company fit in this? Who are your audience? And that's another thing. It always goes back to the audience. And I know this you're going to be sick and tired of hearing me say this. Is go back to what your audience wants, right? Where are your audience hanging out already? If we're going back to this whole idea of, let's say, affordable housing, where are those guys hiding? Are they in a blog? Are they hanging out in a YouTube channel? Are they listening to podcast? So knowing where the flow already is, knowing where your people, your audience are congregating, you can go. So, if vast majority of your audience is hanging out on YouTube, well, go to YouTube and start making videos. But you also have to understand, right? Does my talent align with YouTube? Do I have the capacity and with the will to jump on in front of a camera and record videos? And at first, I was terrible, right? I wasn't the best in front of camera. I was terrible at making videos. A lot of ums and right ahs. I still make them today, but definitely improved over the years. But that's it. Where's your talent? What's your ability? And where are your audience hanging out? Are they listening to podcasts? Then go, create a podcast that is about that topic that you're passionate in. So it really depends on where your people are hanging out. That's probably gonna be the best answer for as like, okay, which platform do I jump on? And what I typically recommend is don't try to go do 5 platforms at once, because it's just not going to happen. You're going to have to pick one platform, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and focus on that as much as it can. And I would say, of course, depending on how big your audience and your market is, get to a level where you're making maybe about 7 figures with that platform, generating traffic and building an audience. And then you can go ahead and start shifting out to, okay, I started on YouTube, let me shift out to Instagram, and then start building your Instagram. Of course, without sacrificing any of the growth that you had, let's say on YouTube, your original kind of platform.
I heard that, I think there was another guy that was telling me that if someone is on Instagram, the
Mhm.
best way to promote Instagram is through their stores, right? Because it's becoming a big store, I
Right.
guess, platform. And I noticed that on Instagram that they do have that. Would you advise that for people that's like in the retail space, that's selling like, t-shirts or hats or doing things of
Yeah.
that sort? Would that be kind of like a great space for them to kind of like market their particular brand?
I mean, if you're selling retail or if you're selling physical products, if you're not on Instagram, oh, you're shooting yourself in your foot already. You're probably behind the 8 ball by now. I mean, these teenagers, right, 18, 17-year-olds, I mean, they pick up on it so quick. I mean, they can build a lot of what's happening now with this e-commerce movement is, they're taking products from the brick and mortar stores, buying them wholesale and then selling them online because these teenagers and youngins, right, they do it better. But going back to the relevancy of like, why do you want to even do that, right? Why do you want to get on? It's not even a trend anymore because it is real. It is here. It is going to be the future, and it is just the way that people buy things now. I would say 90% of stuff that I buy today, straight from Amazon or some kind of online platform today. 90%, right? Sometimes I'll go to the grocery stores, but even then, I'm buying online and I'm having it shipped. Like just the other day, I bought my groceries using an app, and it just got delivered to my home. So I even going out, I stopped doing that. But let me go back to the relevancy as to why you want to do this is because if now these days, if you want to acquire customers, if you want to acquire a client, there's a lot of competition. And to acquire a customer, whether you know it or not, and if you don't know this, is again, you're going to be really behind the 8 ball. But you got to know how much it costs to acquire your customers. Doesn't matter if you sell a dollar product, $10 product, $5,000 product, or even a $20,000 product. You have to find out what are you spending to get your customers in your door. And a lot of times, um, the people that already have an audience, they have an influence, they have a following, they can get these customers at a very cheaper rate. Because think about it, if you build a very loyal follower someone who's known you for 2-3 years because they watched your videos or they've been listening to your podcast, and they love you because they know what you have to say is just gold. They're more likely going to buy with you than going to look at a competitor and saying, well, I don't know these guys, I haven't known them for a while. they, your your competitor literally has to spend more money to try to get them to buy from them. Whereas you can just simply send out an email or a text messages these days and say, hey, I got a special sale going on, 10% off for all my followers on YouTube. And I'll tell you right now, your YouTube subscribers will probably jump on and buy if they've been following you for a while, versus someone who just saw an ad. They're like, yeah, I'm in the market for this, but I don't know if I want to buy from this person because I've already known, this other guy or gal for a while. So it builds undeniably a very powerful um, influence, as well as a strategy. Whether you're a retail business, you could be you could be a private equity company. I know Brandy and I were just talking about that before we got on air, but you could be running a real estate brokerage, a real estate investment company, a fix and flip company. You could be really info company. Influence and having your audience today is, I truly believe, this is the key. This is what will separate you from the competitors, and you can ultimately build somewhat of a competition proof strategy over time. So as far as speaking of why it's important, yeah, that's why. Because someone somewhere out there is building a competitive product, and they're building an audience right now. And one day you're going to try to fight for that audience, and you're going to be too late.
That is so true. The market is continue to shrink as time
Yeah.
continues. We're especially over inundated with all kind of different products and things of that sort.
Yep.
So tell us, for my last and follow-up question concerning when it comes to marketing these different
Mhm.
platforms, I noticed that there's a new platform out there. It's called Clubhouse.
Yes.
Um, and I think that platform is really just almost like a platform that's set up that you can interact with your audience.
Mhm.
Do you think that's something great for, like, even for like the real estate business that like does courses and seminars that they can kind of interact with those individuals? Do you think
Absolutely.
that's a great platform to kind of market that particular brand when you're offering like master classes and things of that sort?
Yeah. Where I see Clubhouse kind of fit into this is literally, and I think it does so well with not only acquiring new audience, but also helping it nurture and retain your customer. Because a lot of times, um, YouTube does that pretty well. Blogging, yes. But what I love about Clubhouse is that it does. I mean, it gives a different experience. It's kind of like a podcast, but a Facebook group married and had a kid. It's kind of like that, right? Where it's so unique. Where sure, you have your Facebook group where there's a lot of collaboration happening already. A lot of conversations that are taking place, but it's slow. It's a slower pace where you're typing something, you're waiting for someone to reply, you're typing something, it's kind of that. And also podcasts is you don't really get feedback from your audience right off the bat, right? Um, unless, you have a Q&A platform or things like that. But I think Clubhouse does something very unique where you have both, where it is a podcast. It's kind of like a podcast where it's very information driven, but at the same time, you can have your audience kind of give you real time, Q&A time, or get them to comment or ask questions. So there's a larger volume of information being transferred in, say, Clubhouse than just Facebook or Spotify. I think Facebook and Spotify will still be relevant, but Clubhouse will definitely take its place, and will have yeah, will definitely grow. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it's just another fad, it's just another trend, it's just another thing. I think we're past that point. I think it is here to stay. So yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's blowing up and people love it. They're
Yep.
loving Clubhouse.
Right.
Tell us, where can we find your group for more information about what you guys do?
Yeah, so we're in the real estate space. Our audience, and I'll tell exactly who we're looking for. Right, this is how we kind of decimate it down. So there's different things, different people, a group of people we work with. So first group we work with is our homeowners, wanted to pay off their mortgage faster, because they're looking to retire soon, right? 40, so anywhere between 40 to 60 years old homeowners, that's what we're looking for. Second group we're looking for are landlords or landlords to be. So individuals that want to buy rental properties, want to get into investments. Those are the individuals. And third, and last but not least, third individuals are high net worth individuals that want to look for a real estate hedge fund that they want to work with and invest, and get some really unique type of arrangement as far as profitability. So all three of those, they can reach out to us on YouTube. They can email us and go to our website, thekwakbrothers.com, send us a message there. Facebook, literally just have to type into Kwak Brothers and you'll literally see all the groups that we run, and you can join. And we do a lot of value driven podcasts or content there as well. A lot of conversations that are happening, whether you're a homeowner, landlord, or an investor looking to work. So yeah, those are the places that you can find us. We're highly visible. So if you literally just Google the Kwak Brothers, you'll find us. You won't have a hard time. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam, for joining us today. We appreciate it very much. So
Absolutely. All right,
all right,
Brandon. It's
that's
been great.